Victoria was known for her strong personality and dedication to her role as queen. She married Prince Albert and they had 9 children together. Yes, 9. During her reign, the British Empire expanded significantly and Britain became a global power. This period is known as the Victorian Era, which was marked by great changes in society, industry, and culture. Queen Victoria became a symbol of the era and is often remembered for her strict morals and values. So today, we are going to the Victorian era to see some of the facts about Queen Victoria. Before I start, if you are new to the channel and love history, definitely subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you. If you know about the Victorians, you know that Queen Victoria became queen at a very young age. Victoria became queen at just 18 years old after the death of her uncle, King William IV. This made her one of the youngest monarchs in British history, and her youth stood out in a time when many rulers were much older. Victoria was seen as a fresh and vibrant figure. Her young age and spirited personality made her relatable to the people. Many admired her for her energy and enthusiasm, which contrasted with the older and more established leaders of her time. Although she was young and vibrant, Victoria faced challenges, including political struggles and personal losses. Prince Albert was her first cousin. He was born in Germany in 1819 and was a member of the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert were married on February 10, 1840. The wedding took place at the Chapel Royal in St. James Palace, London. Victoria and Albert fell in love when they were young. They became engaged in 1839. Their marriage was not just a love match, it was also a political alliance, strengthening ties between Britain and Germany. They shared many interests, including art, music, and architecture. They worked together to support various causes like education and the arts. Albert played a significant role in many Victoria's decisions, and she valued his advice highly. Victoria and Albert had 9 children together: Victoria, Albert Edward, who became later King Edward VII, Alice, Alfred, Helena, Louise, Arthur, Leopold, and Beatrice. He was involved in organizing the Great Exhibition of 1851, which showcased Britain's industrial achievements. It took place in the Crystal Palace in London and was very popular. Prince Albert helped to modernize the British monarchy. He encouraged Victoria to take more active role in public life. Queen Victoria is often referred to as the Large Mourner because of the way she expressed her deep sorrow after the death of her husband Prince Albert in 1861. Prince Albert was not just her husband, he was her closest friend and advisor. His death left Victoria heartbroken. She felt an overwhelming sense of grief that changed her life completely. After Albert died, Victoria went into a prolonged period of mourning. She wore black clothing for the rest of her life, which was a traditional way to show that someone was in mourning. This mourning period lasted for many years, and she was rarely seen in public without her mourning attire. Victoria's intense mourning had a big impact on her public image. People began to see her as a sad and grieving queen. Her mourning was so prominent that it shaped how people viewed her during this time. Victoria's mourning also inspired art and literature. Many artists created work depicting her in her mourning attire, and writers explored themes of loss and grief in their stories. Queen Victoria was one of the longest reigning monarchs in British history. Her reign brought significant changes to society, and she showed that a woman could be a strong and influential leader in a male-dominated world. The time she ruled is known as the Victorian Era, which was marked by great social changes. Many women began to push for more rights and better treatment during this time. Victoria became a symbol of female strength and morality. Although Victoria had traditional views about women's roles, she supported education for women. During her reign, more opportunities for women to receive an education began to emerge, helping to lay the groundwork for future feminist movements. Victoria's position as queen provided a platform for women's rights activists. Many suffragists looked to her as an example of a woman who held power. While she did not actively campaign for women's suffrage, her reign coincided with the growing movement. Queen Victoria set many fashion trends simply by wearing certain styles. She favored modest clothing that covered the body, which reflected the values of her time. Her choice of dresses often included high necklace or long sleeves, which became very popular. The Victorian fashion featured full skirts, often supported by crinolines. Queen Victoria was seen in these styles, which encouraged many women to adopt similar looks. During her reign, there was a rise in the use of luxurious fabrics like silk and velvet, often decorated with lace and embroidery. Fashion became more elaborate, and designers started to create beautiful and intricate garments for both men and women. The upper classes often set the trends that others followed. Because Queen Victoria was a prominent figure, her choices influenced not just the elite but also the middle and working classes. As people saw her in certain styles, they wanted to mimic her looks, making those styles more popular. The Victorian era saw the rise of fashion magazines, which helped spread Queen Victoria's fashion influences. These publications showcased the latest styles, making it easier for people to stay informed about what was fashionable. In 1876, Victoria was officially declared the Empress of India. This title was created to symbolize British rule and authority over India. The formal announcement of her title was made during a grand ceremony in Delhi in January 1877, known as the Delhi Darbar. It was a huge celebration attended by Indian princes, British officials, and many others. Queen Victoria ruled over India through a system of British officials and local Indian leaders. The British government took control of India from the East India Company after the Indian Rebellion of 1857, and India was directly governed by the British Crown. During her reign, there were some reforms in India, including improvements in education and infrastructure, like railways and telegraphs. However, many policies favored British interests and exploited Indian resources. The British controlled India's economy, leading to the export of raw materials to Britain and the import of British goods, which affected local industries. Queen Victoria's reign as Empress of India ended in 1901 when she passed away. The title continued to be used by her successor until India gained independence in 1947. Victoria is seen differently in India. Some admire her for her efforts in education and infrastructure, while others criticize her for the exploitation and hardship caused by British rule. Queen Victoria was a big supporter of new inventions and technologies. She believed that progress in science and technology could improve people's lives. One of the most significant events during her reign was the Great Exhibition held in 1851 at the Crystal Palace in London. This event showcased the latest inventions and advancements from around the world. The Queen opened the exhibition, which highlighted British industry and technology, and she encouraged the public to explore new ideas. The development of railways was a major technological advancement during her reign. Queen Victoria was fascinated by trains and enjoyed traveling by train. She saw how railways connected cities and made travel easier for everyone, boosting trade and tourism. Queen Victoria also embraced the use of the telegraph, which allowed messages to be sent quickly over long distances. This was evolutionary for communication, and she recognized its importance in keeping people connected. She even sent her first telegram message in 1858. Photography became popular during Queen Victoria's time, and she was one of the early adopters. She had many photographs taken of her family and important events. She understood the power of photography in capturing memories and conveying messages. Victoria supported scientific research and education. She believed in the importance of science for the progress of society. Her interest in technology also included topics like medicine and public health, where advancements could improve living conditions. From a young age, Victoria showed a strong interest in painting and drawing. She took lessons and often spent her free time with creating art. Victoria surrounded herself with many talented artists and musicians. She was inspired by their work and often invited them to her court. Some famous artists she knew included Sir Edwin Landseer and Joseph Mallord William Turner. As Queen, Victoria actively supported the arts. She believed the art could enrich people's lives and enhance the culture of the nation. She promoted various art forms including painting, sculpture, and music. Queen Victoria collected paintings, photographs, and drawings that she admired. Her collection included works by famous artists and also personal artworks created by her family members. Victoria believed in the importance of art education. She supported institutions like the Royal Academy and the South Kensington Museum, now the Victoria and Albert Museum, to help educate artists and the public about art. Queen Victoria had 9 children, and many of them married into important royal families across Europe, creating strong political alliances. Queen Victoria's children's marriages played a significant role in shaping European royal relationships. These unions helped from alliances, but they also reflected personal love and connection. Through her children's marriages, Victoria helped link various royal families, which influenced politics and diplomacy in Europe for generations. Victoria and Prince Albert popularized the tradition of the Christmas tree in Britain. They had decorated a tree at Windsor Castle in 1841, which was featured in illustrations. This custom quickly spread across the country and became a beloved holiday tradition. Queen Victoria had a strong Christian faith. She was deeply religious and attended church regularly. Her faith influenced her views on morality and duty, which she believed were essential qualities for a monarch. But also in the later years of her life, Victoria became interested in spiritualism, a belief in communicating with the spirits of the dead. After the death of her beloved husband, Prince Albert, she sought comfort in seances and other spiritual practices. And the last one, Queen Victoria was an avid writer. She kept a detailed diary throughout her life, writing about her daily experiences, thoughts, and feelings. Her diaries provide valuable insight into her life and the events of her time. After her death, her diaries were published, revealing much about her personality and the royal family. Victoria was one of the first British monarchs to travel extensively. She visited many parts of her empire, including Scotland, Ireland, and even parts of Europe. Her travels helped her connect with her subjects and experience different cultures. Queen Victoria was very aware of her public image. She often posed for portraits and engaged with the media to maintain a favorable reputation. Her image was carefully crafted to reflect the values of her time, emphasizing duty, family, and morality. But after all, despite her royal status, Victoria valued family life. She created a warm and loving home for her children and was deeply involved in their upbringing. She believed in the importance of motherhood and family values. So far today, don't forget to tell us how you felt. What do you think about the Queen Victoria? I really want to know. Let me know in the comments what historical facts you want to see next. Thanks a lot for watching the full video. See you in the next video. Stay well.